Hey Fems, happy Monday. I am Violet D'Ayala. I'm the founder of FemCity, and you're joining us today for our Monday Motivation. I have this beautiful guest with me today. Her name is Victoria Davis. She's actually one of our FemCity Global members, and I'm just getting to know her as well. I'm super excited. I follow her on some of her social media platforms, and I just think she's got some great knowledge and wisdom for us to talk about today. And the month of July is all about review and regroup. It is halfway into 2020. And so we thought it'd be really great to share also the conversation on wellness. And I know a couple of you have actually requested this. And I'm a former Pilates instructor, personal trainer. I owned a Pilates studio for 10 years. I am obsessed with talking about wellness. So you guys mentioned it. I was like so on it. And Victoria, I thought would be a great guest for us to learn from. So I'm super excited that you're here, Victoria. Welcome.
Thank you, Violet. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here with you girls.
Yeah. So, and if you guys are joining us, whether it's the replay or live, feel free to ask questions. Again, our intention is to help you when it comes to wellness. And so we're here for you. So please feel free to ask questions. Remember that this is a safe place, meaning that you can ask questions. We're here to guide you and help you as best as we can. So don't be shy. Please, we love when questions come in, or if you just want to give some love, that's great too. We will take that as well. Victoria, before we start, can you share a little bit about what makes you such an expert in the wellness industry?
Sure. Thank you again. Yeah, I think for me, it was, I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome at age 7, which was really traumatizing. And then changing my diet with my family for a couple of years and getting really serious about that. And then me taking ownership of that around age 12, which is pretty young, but really shifting into that and understanding that stress and depression and anxiety and food intolerances were all connected to that. And so I spent my teen years trying to navigate that. And that's what I ended up doing in college. I really dove into how can I help other people with this? What do I need to study? And so then, I ended up studying allergy-friendly baking, which was really fun because I love desserts and I couldn't eat anything. And then I got into corporate wellness coaching and consulting. And that was kind of where I really got, the expertise under my belt. So I have coached over 5,000 people in a one-on-one setting in both Spanish and English. And I've developed programs and challenges and courses for over a dozen companies of different shapes and sizes throughout the country. So it's been a really big learning curve in that process, figuring out what works and what doesn't. But that's pretty much my background in wellness.
I love that. I love that you I see so much of myself in you when you were sharing that. So sometimes people ask why I've been vegetarian since 1988. Why do I go back and forth with practicing veganism? Why? Mm-hmm. And really, your story right now made me think of myself. My dad had his first heart attack when I was in high school. He started having some health issues. And so I started doing research back then, like back in 1988, which is like way before, you can Google things. And that's really what led me. I was also an overweight child. I have asthma, and I really wanted to learn how I could actually do the things I love to do with my limitations. And so when you were sharing that about yourself, by the way, I didn't know that. I love that you shared that. So thanks for sharing that. Totally. I discovered, and then I loved it so much for myself that's what led me into being a personal trainer and also a Pilates instructor. I went more on that wellness side versus you obviously doing nutrition and wellness and the whole rounded aspect of it. I never did that. I would love to, but I love that you have a personal story connected to that. I think that would actually help also. I can imagine when you're talking to people that you can tell them, like, I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to not know better, and I'm here to help you. So I love that that's connected to the work that you do.
Yeah. I think one more thing with that too is kind of I relate to a lot. Like I was hardcore, like raw gluten-free vegan for 10 years, and I was doing endurance racing. But then my blood work started shifting, and I had like an identity crisis because I was like, but I need to be vegan. And so when I had to shift away from that for a season, it was really hard. And so I get that, like with you too. It's like you can really help people because you've gone through those ups and downs of like what it actually looks like and how it affects you psychologically and stuff too. So I relate to you on that.
I love that you share that, because I'd never met somebody else that shared that. I go back and forth. So I'm an easy vegan. Like, I love vegetables naturally.
Yeah.
For me, I have gluten intolerance, and I think I have some other issues as well. Like, so I kind of go back and forth, but I love that you shared that there was like an identity, because you're so right. When you're all in and you're in that plant-based world and then you shift out of it, there's a sense of identity that goes with it. I had never heard anybody else share that. So anyway, I love that you shared that, because I now eat dairy. I eat feta cheese and goat cheese, and then truffle cheese. That's goat.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing non-dairy beverages, but I can appreciate what you mentioned, because I'm like, you should write an article on that, by the way.
I'm actually writing a book, so.
Oh, okay. There you go. So, that makes sense. So let's talk about why it's important to talk about wellness during quarantine and pandemic. I know at the beginning of this entire quarantine and pandemic, we were not focused on wellness. We were just focused on just getting through the day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Beginning of really mid-March. You're in Miami too, aren't you?
I'm where?
Are you in Miami?
No, I'm in Ohio, actually, of all places. Like the most random state. No.
I thought you were in Miami. I don't know why. So I don't know when it was in Ohio, but for Miami, it was really like mid-March, and we didn't really talk about wellness just yet, because we were talking about like just getting through mentally, right? Like all the shifts. And the wellness conversation started coming up as our fem started getting into the groove of, okay, now this is my new groove. Now what's shot is my wellness, right? Now I'm eating chips out of the bag all day. I'm not moving off the sofa in between meetings, so I think that this is a really great time for us to talk about wellness during this time, because I feel like we're going to be in this for a little bit longer. Yeah. Why do you think it's important for us to focus on wellness during these times? Because there might be someone saying, why are you guys talking about wellness? Like, I'm trying to cut my bills. Like, I'm trying to make ends meet. I'm trying to, get food on the table. Why should I care about wellness?
Yeah, I think that we tend to compartmentalize wellness into physical fitness and nutrition. And we completely forget that literally every single aspect of how we engage with our life is wellness. Like, there's the biggest thing right now is like social wellness, right? It's like, it's the repercussions of the masks in public when you physically cannot see someone smile, like what that does to you on a subconscious level. And so it's assessing wellness in a different way. It's understanding that the isolation and social distancing creates like the stress and the anxiety. Even if you're typically a happy person and you like to work out and eat well, it's just so much more than that. But really it's the time to kind of assess what your lifestyle looks like and figure out, okay, maybe there's certain areas that aren't like on the surface, that I should be addressing that can actually count as wellness, beyond just typical stress or anxiety. There's what other repercussions are happening emotionally and all of those things. So yeah, it's really important right now.
Yeah, I love it. And you have some comment. You have some love coming in. Good morning from California. Someone said, love being a part of this community. We can't see your name, so but thank you for the love. And someone mentioned, I rebooted my wellness journey during COVID and I lost about 20 pounds. Amazing. And someone says, yes, my mental wellness has suffered severely because I am such a people person. God, I got chills just reading that comment and listening to you, Victoria, as it connects to everything. And I totally want to put exclamation points on what you said, that wellness is not so much like, and it's great you lost 20 pounds. Like, I've also rebooted some aspects of my wellness. Everyone is different. I love that you mentioned it is not only physical and not only what we ingest internally, but also that mental health of readjusting to all these changes, especially for people that are extroverts that feed off the energy of people in a great way, right? It's like their sunshine.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing is social wellness is a pillar of wellness. I mean, we have to be able to, I think the biggest thing is we have to be able to be ourselves in every situation. And because we're actually not feeling like we are, I think that that's how that pillar of wellness is suffering. And I get that. I'm a people person too. And I even think that connecting like this is fantastic, but the literal, I mean, we emit energy. So the literal physical connection that you have with someone, even just being in the same room as someone, can shift how you react. So I get that.
Absolutely. There was I love Gwyneth Paltrow's show. It's called Goop. It's on Netflix. And there's an exercise that they do with energy, and they kind of stand next to each other. I mean, this is pre-COVID when we could stand next to each other. But even they did like this exercise where you could actually, if you are with somebody else and you can kind of feel that energy radiating off the other person's physical presence. And so imagine that times, when you're with other people and the smiling and the energy, I mean, it really makes a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say, Victoria, if someone is watching right now, and this is going to go over into YouTube later, so kind of think about the broad, if someone is watching this right now and saying, yeah, I know I need to get in gear with my wellness. I get it. It's been on my to-do list forever, pre-COVID, all that stuff. I cannot seem to figure out a way to like come up from the water, like just trying to get at least clarity to even know where to begin. What are some tips that you can share for femmes that are looking to start focusing on wellness, that perhaps are feeling, quite overwhelmed with everything else going on?
Yeah, I think one of the easiest things to do is literally assess what your day looks like. Like if you can't focus on your wellness if you don't know where your time and energy is going. So like, it sounds kind of silly. I'm going to grab this. Look.
There you go.
So this is really silly. I use a lot on my computer, but there's just, my brain doesn't work unless I brain dump. So I literally take like a physical calendar like this that has like times, and I date it. And I have it directly next to my desk in my office every single day. If I don't know what I'm doing at least every hour, or morning, afternoon, and evening, typically, I can't know what to focus on. And so I would say start there. If you don't really know where your time's going, if you don't know, if you have more energy in the morning or evening, like when's the last time you actually assessed that? Do you know when you're more productive? And then the other thing I always suggest is write down your priorities, write down what's important to you, and maybe even flesh out why it's important to you, and then look at your schedule. And if you're like, wow, none of that is in there, well, that's going to affect you mentally and emotionally. And so you're not going to feel well because you're not getting in what brings you joy. And that's actually what I would do to start. I mean, you don't even have to go to the gym for that,
Right. I'm a huge fan of time blocking. I love that sheet that you just shared. That's a great one. I time block everything. Years ago, my brother kind of not made fun of me, but he was like, oh my gosh, your cat, because I had on the refrigerator when the kids were all little. I had on the refrigerator like every single hour of the day. And I told him there is no way I could do as much as I do if I didn't have everything scheduled in time blocks, even like picking up, dropping off. And I think that's a great tip, because I think a lot of times we feel overwhelmed, and then the day goes by, we don't focus on whether it's meditation or focusing on like intentionally producing like a beautiful dinner for yourself that's filled with like healthy things, or going for a walk outside, whatever it is that you brings you joy when it comes to wellness. If you don't have it in your calendar, that means it's not going to be a priority of yours. It's not going to be a focus because it's not in there, as if it were like a medical appointment. Like I put in my workouts as if they were doctor appointments. And like this morning, we started going to the gym again at 7 a.m. They're doing really severe measures with social distancing. You have to wear the mask. Everyone's far apart. You only have 45 minutes, and they clean everything all over again. Oh, wow. It's pretty good. So we started today at 7 a.m. And we just, like my husband said, we just showed up. That was today's goal, was just to show up and go through the motion of it, and just then you do better the next time. So I love that time blocking, intentionally adding it to your calendar, or figuring out, what do I have going on in my day that I can just get rid of and put in something else, like wellness.
Yeah, like this, it could be that basic. It's just like, oh man, I'm wasting time here. Maybe we can try to waste half of that time. I think that's like the first step.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say to a femme that's perhaps saying, you know what, I'll start doing that, Victoria. Let's say she's saying, okay, I'm going to start doing that, Victoria, but I don't have money to go and do this. I don't have money to eat organic or eat better, or I just don't have the energy. What would you say to them to inspire them to really start looking at adding components of wellness into their life?
Yeah, so we can start with the financial one too. I think sometimes we feel like we don't have money, but I promise you, you do, which is weird. Maybe not a lot. I'm not saying go spend a
Right.
ton of money on organic food, but I think a lot of times finances feel really heavy and overwhelming because we have to have money to live. But the reality is sometimes it's like, when's the last time you actually assessed your budget? Or when's the last time you got creative and resourceful and found things around the house that you could sell, and maybe get excited about that? Or maybe it's a time to create something that you've always wanted to create and list it on Facebook Marketplace or Etsy. Like it's really the opportunity to get more resourceful because, you can create money. It sounds weird, but when I say that, it doesn't mean you have to have the expectation that you're going to create a revenue stream of thousands and thousands of dollars. It could be $10 extra a week, and that's $40, and that could go towards, extra grocery load of vegetables. So it's just things like that. It's figuring out what are some of my like auto pays that are taking out too much. Can I call the insurance company and see if I can get a lower rate? A lot of times they're doing that in general, and especially with COVID, they're cutting a lot of deals.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, like assessing your bills, seeing what you can eliminate, having that conversation, with your family. And then I would say the second thing is that it doesn't have to be expensive at all to eat healthy. I think when we say healthy, a lot of people think it literally just means whole foods, organic, and it really doesn't. It just means eliminating the boxed foods, which in general are like a 30% markup because you're paying for that brand and you're not getting nearly as much food content in that package. You open it and you're like, what the heck? Half of it's gone anyway. So if you can just steer clear of, I would challenge you to steer clear of packaged foods for as much as you possibly can, or maybe things that are pre-made in a package, but they're still like fresh ingredients, so that's not so overwhelming to have to cook so much. That will actually cut down like crazy, one, on costs, and then two, it's just easy. It doesn't have to be organic. That's what I would suggest.
I love that tip. Well, I remember in our most poor state, we had a really bad year, 2009, like so many other people, and we kept our investment in the food that we provided for the family was one of the places that we decided to keep. But we used to just shop around the perimeter of the store. So instead of going up and down the aisles where things generally are more expensive and they're prepackaged, like you were saying, we would just do like the perimeter, right? So produce, and then you cut across the back, more dairy, and then you cut across this way. It's like a little bit more dairy, and then you check out. So if you just kind of, every grocery store has their format, but it's generally, I believe it's kind of in that quadrant setup. But our budget was $150 a week for 5, including our household products. And that was even like, I would make like vinegar, more like cleaning supplies that were like with vinegar versus going and getting the Windex, so like the little things like that. Yeah. But we did mostly vegetables. And I feel like if you, just, there are really creative ways that you can create super yummy, easy food on a more stringent budget. Totally. And that's Miami pricing. Miami's always more expensive. So 150 might sound like a lot, and it is a lot of money, but it might be $100 somewhere else for 5 people. So any other tips that you want to share for those that are watching and now really starting to make the shift mentally and mindset wise, saying, you know what, I'm going to start focusing on that. Remember, we have half the years left, right? We're just at the halfway point. So you really have 6 more months to make those changes so that you feel really good on December 31st, when you're looking at your New Year's resolutions. Now is the time to start focusing on that. What would you say to them?
Yeah, so I think one thing that we didn't address, which is actually directly connected to this, is energy. And so I think that connected to finishing out your year strong is knowing, really, that's kind of the key to all of that, is knowing when you have the most energy, so that you can actually tackle what you're passionate about and be productive in a way that is unique to you. It doesn't have to be all day long sitting there to feel productive. That has zero to do with, getting your goals and vision accomplished for the rest of the year. It's really important to figure out, okay, like, I have these goals and this vision for my life and my health and my wellness journey, but if I'm, one, not excited about it, and two, I don't know like how to use my energy and why it's low, then it's not going to happen. And I think that a lot of times it's knowing, hey, I do really well from 6 to 9 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then after that it tanks. It's like, time block that stuff. Don't let anybody else come before that unless it's necessary, right? Obviously kids and work and things like that.
Right.
But like, if you can get that time in and really dedicate your goal and vision planning and wellness and all of that into those specific spaces, I mean, you will accomplish so much more just from knowing that it works best for you then, and versus sitting there, and trying to grind things out. Or even if going to the gym, let's say you want to try to work out at home every day, but you don't do well in the afternoon, your workouts are just going to stink. And so it's better to do 2 workouts in the morning that you love and you can go all out, versus 5 days a week in the afternoon and you feel terrible and you're not excited about it, So I would just really assess like where your energy level is and use that to the fullest, no matter what time of day and how much of it you have.
I love that. So you have some other love coming in. Someone says, yes, the energy around people when I do go out makes me feel terrible. So empath right there.
Yep.
Great tips. People afford for things they want. There's always ways to get creative to find the money. And another from added that is so key, meaning your energy level. And you're so right. I mean, I hear sometimes people say, I'm going to get fit, right? Like January 1st, I'm going to focus on this. I'm gonna get up at 6 a.m. It's like you were saying, like, why would you get up at 6? If you're not a morning 6 a.m. person, no. Why would you? Or I love the other one, like, they think they have to go for a run, right? Like, I'm gonna get fit, I'm gonna get in shape, I'm gonna just run. It's like, not everyone needs to run. Not everybody needs to do like be a triathlete or CrossFit. I mean, CrossFit, I'm so scared to even try it. It's not even, I know it's not my jam. Like, I don't need to. So go with the energies, like what Victoria was saying, like go with the energies of what feels good for you. If you're an evening person, it feels right for you. If you're a morning person, do what feels right for you and tweak it along the way. Say, you know what? I tried it out in the afternoon, like Victoria was saying, and you know what? It didn't feel really good. Let me try it in the morning and see if I do better.
Yeah.
It's a huge tip. I think that's going to bring a lot of success to a lot of people that are watching. Absolutely. All right, so we are wrapping up. Victoria, I'm sure you have some femmes that would love to get to know you more. What is the best way for them to find you?
Honestly, the best way for you to find me, you can type in coachvictoriapatricia.com, super easy, or just DM me on Facebook. That I'm on it all the time. So I get the messenger, and you can just, if you comment below or message me, that's the easiest way.
Awesome. And this will be in our classroom. And also Victoria is featured on our speaker and teachers page. And Victoria, this is amazing. I hope that you come back and that you share more information for femmes that are wanting to bring up the level of wellness in their life. I'm so grateful for you and for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.